Listen up, MTG players. Your rent is due and your landlords are here to collect. Graham here. They call me Hammox42 on the internet, but you can call me Piggy Banks, which is a problem for you though, because I never break. Uh, now we also have my compatriot here. Introduce yourself.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Astralsflame, but around here, you're going to call me Burns Money because I got so much, I don't know what to do with it. And my associate here, Piggy Banks, has already said we are here to collect on the rent. It is due. It is, in fact, that time of the week of when you must pay us, the payees, as you are the payers, and we are the deliverers of the information of which you pay us to deliver. And at this point, it could allegedly be considered a crime as we are targeting you, the payers, the payees, according to our topic of this week, the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, because apparently targeting things is now a crime, as I am allegedly told by our sources.
Absolutely, yes. This particular show does, in fact, qualify as a crime because we are targeting your ears there at home, and I don't believe that we are on a team, as it were. Although, I mean, we're always on a team. What can I say? We're not playing two-headed giant. It is what it is. So, in any event, everybody, yeah, we're going to be talking about Outlaws of Thunder Junction, first impressions of the set, and kind of what we're seeing. It's pre-release weekend as we're recording this. By the time you're hearing this, you probably had a chance to play with a couple of the cards, and that's pretty darn exciting, if you ask me. So, this set is stacked. I think it's important that we don't bury the lead here. Also, we're officially committing crimes in cardboard. I love it. Officially committing cardboard crimes. And I also want to point out to everybody out there complaining, everybody else going crazy out there about this. Okay. Hey, man, Mana Crypt is not a crime. Okay. It's not. Black Lotus is not a crime. Also, Farewell, not a crime. Just saying. Okay.
Not a crime.
Get off my back about that. Okay. It's above board. Not a crime. We need to make that abundantly clear, everybody. Bribery, oh, that's a crime. I'm targeting you with that one. But hey, you know what? That one's worth it. Just saying.
Absolutely.
I just want to play your Ulamog, okay?
Yeah, it's our Ulamog. That's how it works.
It's our Ulamog. Yeah, that's all. So yeah, I will target you for that one. But you know, hey, make that face hexproof. It's not my fault you didn't make your face hexproof.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you should have been prepared for this. You know what was coming. We were coming out with you. Why didn't you get ready for this? Like anything targeting now is going to be a crime. So we are ready and waiting to allegedly commit these crimes to win the game, especially with some of the sweet new stuff. Because, oh wow, is this set super powerful? And Piggy Banks, do remind me, if I am not mistaken in my recollection here, you were able to commit some most heinous crimes this past Wednesday at the streamer event. If you wish to regale us with your heinous activity crimes.
Oh my goodness, the amount of crimes that we partook in, I have to say, has been incredible. If you think for a second, if you're looking at, say, a crime payoff card, like, for example, Marchesa, Dealer of Death, right? It's a 3-drop. Whenever you commit a crime, you can pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards. One of them goes in your graveyard, one goes in your hand. You're drawing cards every time you commit a crime. You may think, okay, that's fine, but how often am I committing crime? The reality is you're committing a lot of crimes. It happens all the time. The amount of times that you target your opponent, or target their stuff, counter their spells, whatever. And in the case of Marchesa, you're in Grixis. And so as a result, every time you kill something, if you just got an extra 1 mana lying around, you get to draw a card. It replaces itself. Your kill spells replace themselves. Your counter spells replace themselves. Let's just stop and think about that for a moment. That is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. The power in that is just cannot be understated. So I feel like cannot be overstated. Whatever the expression is, you know what I'm saying? It's the good one. It's incredible. So that is one example of a crime payoff. And that can trigger as many times in a turn. It's not just once. You also have Karavak the Punisher. Whenever you're committing crimes, you can recast stuff out of your graveyard. Gives all your graveyard stuff flashback. Now, one problem with Karavak. Only problem with Karavak. You spend 2 life every time you do it. Do you have any idea? How easy it is to hit one of your opponent's things with a kill spell? I see that little pop-up on Arena show up and be like, yo, you want to kill another thing? My answer is always yes. Always.
So
like,
easy.
Every time. Before I know it, man, I started my life. I started the turn at 9. All of a sudden, I'm at 1 and I'm passing. You still have 2 things somehow because you had a lot. And I'm over here being like, well, that was fun, but I guess I'm dead. That happens all the time. All the time. And I know what you're thinking. Like, well, wait, what are the chances that they actually have the Lightning Helix in the hand? Very good.
All the time.
Very good. All the time. It's always there. And they're not going to target your Karavak. They're just going to wait until you do the thing and then target your face. It happens all the time. So anyway, So there's that. But regardless, the crime payoffs, they happen all the time. And on top of that, a number of new cards were specifically templated to commit crimes. The new deserts, when they enter, target opponent loses a life.
That's a crime.
You're picking opponents. That's a crime. Those are crime lands. You got crime on your lands, even. Bonkers. On top of that, we also now have Tiny Bones joins up. If you're in black and you want to commit crimes, put that card in your deck.
That's a crime right there. I mean,
It's a crime. It's a crime when it enters, and then on top of that, whenever another legendary creature enters, you commit more crimes. It's bonkers, absolutely bonkers. I truly think some kind of like Golgari crime deck could easily be a thing. Easily.
it's just criminal. I mean, it's worse than us.
Criminal.
And we're pretty unscrupulous, allegedly.
Allegedly. As some court documents would have you believe, we are in fact a bit unscrupulous. Unscrupulous is a good word for it. Yeah. So I gotta say that is absolutely. It turns out that is exactly as powerful as we expected. Another card that I know you're gonna appreciate as a Jund enthusiast. I know you will value this card.
I am
the
listening.
Vaultborn Tyrant.
Ooh.
When you read Vaultborn Tyrant, you might think, "Oh, this card seems okay." 6/6 for 7. Whenever it or another creature with pop 4 greater enters the battlefield, gain 3 life, draw card. And when it dies, you get a token copy of it. That has all that fun text on it. So I've said that token is an artifact, which is noteworthy.
That means it doesn't have a throat. That makes it pretty noteworthy there, Piggy Banks. If I am not mistaken.
That's very true. That the token does not, in fact, have a throat. And what's great is too, if you drop that first one and your opponent's like, "Okay, I can kill this thing," great. So it hits the battlefield, you gain 3 life, draw card. It's like one of the best honey mammoths we've ever seen already. And then your opponent's like, "Okay, hey, that's got a throat. It's okay, cool. I'm gonna kill that." You sure did. Good work. Now I have this token that has an artifact, or that is an artifact. I'm going to gain another 3 life and draw another card. I'm up 2 cards because you decided to do that. And I still got the body in play. It's bonkers. You got to exile that thing or it's going to hurt. And yes. And on top of that, it triggers every time another big thing enters. I mean, how many big creatures are there that are going to be entering the battlefield? You're doing reanimator shenanigans. You're doing ramp shenanigans. It's not hard to get a lot of big things down. It's not hard at all. You're gaining life, drawing cards. Gaining life and drawing cards. Then when you're done doing that, you're going to gain some more life. You're going to draw some more cards. It's just, it is what it is. It's great.
That is the kind of value that we do love in this kind of situation here, especially with the reanimator strategies, because that is the gift that keeps on bringing when it comes back.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. So yeah, I gotta say that card, it overperformed. It did phenomenal. Now, that said, in the early access event, generally speaking, you see a little less removal. A lot of people don't run as much interactions as they do like on the ladder. So take every result that you've seen so far with a grain of salt. It is what it is, but that's okay. At the end of the day, these cards played real well. Real well. Another one that I saw a couple people do was Akul, the new Scorpion Dragon. I don't know if you've seen that thing.
I have.
Baby. Oh.
It fancies the senses. It does all the right things. We sacrifice, we cheat things, and it is money waiting to be printed with value.
And it's a 4-drop. It only costs 4. If you've got other bodies online and you drop it, you're good to go. You're free and clear, baby. And I went up against one person who actually was using that alongside Gleeful Demolition and Oni Cult Anvil. That setup was beautiful because I watched them sacrifice, I think it was like a map token or something they just had lying around. They sacked that to a Beseech the Mirror, grabbed Akul, put it down, sacrificed all the goblin tokens, and then attracts to hit the field.
That
was
disgusting.
A pretty good turn 4. That was a pretty good turn 4, if I might say.
I do appreciate that, especially with Beseech the Mirror, because that is just a fantastic tutor.
You got 8 copies of that sucker in your deck. It's great. Yep. So the opportunities for some like really insane stuff is absolutely here with this set. I'm very excited. I had a couple other cards that really performed from the big score bonus sheet. That's another one. I say bonus sheet. It's just part of the set. It's just going to be in the packs with all the other stuff. That set is also absolutely insane. Now, the Vaultborn Tyrant was from that set as well. We already talked about that one a little bit. But there's a card in this set that I think is going to see play in a lot of places. I think it's going to be very, very, very powerful. And I think a lot of people are underappreciating it right now.
What is this card that you are referring to here?
Simulacrum Synthesizer.
Ooh, that is a
If you haven't had a
very
chance,
fancy name.
a lot of people are talking about Esoteric Duplicator, and they worked well together, to be fair. And Duplicate is fun, but you got to have a lot of mana to do that thing. But you could do that. That's good. Don't get me wrong. I like that. That's cool. But Simulacrum Synthesizer is an artifact for 2 and a blue. It enters the battlefield, you scry 2. Okay, nothing fancy so far, but whatever.
That
Just go
seems
with me
like,
on this.
yeah.
Whenever another artifact with mana value 3 or more enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 0/0 construct that gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You make a construct every time another artifact enters if its mana value is at least 3.
So I am literally producing money here as I cast more things.
It's print money, baby.
What if I was to combine this with the Thousand Moon Smithy? The legendary artifact there. Am I not then just making more constructs and constructs and more constructs?
Constructs upon so thousand moves. So you synthesize it on 3, right? You scry to make sure you're hitting your land drops, and you can hit the Smithy on
Of
4.
course,
Hit the
because we
Smithy on
always
4.
hit.
Of course, always gotta get the lands every time. So this thousand move Smithy enters on 4. The synthesizer sees it, it makes a construct. Then its ETB triggers, makes one of those gnomes that's basically one of those constructs. So all of a sudden, you got 2 in play right away. Boom. On top of that, the synthesizer, it doesn't have to cast. You don't have to have cast the artifact. You just enters. So if you have anything that can like produce like token copies of a thing that has a mana value, you're good to go, baby. It just all goes nuts. And the other thing about that, though, a lot of people don't realize how many amazing artifacts are already out there that are just there doing the thing. Like, for example, we have the Unstable Glyph Bridge. And honestly, I'm glad you mentioned Thousand Moon Smithy, because really, you look back at Ixalan, you look at Brothers War, we have a lot of artifact-themed stuff that is going on in Standard right now that hasn't really seen a lot of love. It just hasn't really gotten play. Oh, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Skiddabeam Battalion would trigger the synthesizer 3 times.
Yes, it would there, because it is a ETB, as you do not have to cast it. As you have rightfully said, I am often
Oh
one
my goodness.
that does prefer the cast trigger, so I get it nonetheless. However, the enter in is certainly picking my ears as
Has its benefits.
3
Exactly.
battalions gets that 3 triggers. I do. That is money.
That, oh my goodness. So with the Skiddabeam Battalion, if you're not familiar, it enters the battlefield and you get 2 token copies of it, right? Of whatever you cast it. And even prototypes, its mana value is 5. So this synthesizer sees all of them enter. Now you have to cast it to get the copies of itself. It's entered the battlefield trigger, cares whether you cast it or not. Synthesizer don't care. You're gonna get whatever on that. So
that is
the moment you add something like a mirror, like a any kind of token doubler, any kind of anointed procession or doubling season effects on top of that. Oh my goodness. Like the amount of disgusting that gets is like unreal. So I think the synthesizer is going to be part of some crazy combo decks, and I think a lot of people are going to see it. And I was also going to mention the Unstable Glyph Bridge from Lost Caverns to Ixalan. It was in the kind of that same like artifact package that we got from that set. It's a board wipe for 5. It's a board wipe. And granted, it enters the battlefield. If you cast it, it triggers, kills all the things. So it's going to kill that, the construct you just made. But you get my point, right? Like an artifact-themed deck can easily exist. And when it's just sitting out there, all your constructs count it. And it grows based on those.
And
we also have another. There's even a piece of removal in this set. There's a 3-mana equipment of all things. That's like a banishing light called Assimilation Aegis. Power creep is wild. Do you remember when Banishing Light was like premier removal in Standard, when it was like the best you could do?
I remember
3-mana exile thing.
I do, and it wasn't even that long ago, because the Celestia enchantment deck used to just happen to have included that in its package, and then if not 2 sets later, did we get the Seal of Existence, which was Banishing Light, but with Ward. And now you're telling me that is better than the Banishing Light of Ward for Seal from Existence? I mean,
in some circumstances,
do go on.
Well, in certain circumstances, this card will absolutely do it. Assimilation Aegis. It is an artifact. So if your deck cares about artifacts, you're doing the synthesizer thing, it counts. 1 white, blue. Gotta have both of those colors, but stick with me. Stay with me here. It's an equipment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature until it leaves the battlefield. Banishing Light style. You know how that goes.
Yep.
But it equips for 2. The equipped creature becomes a copy of the thing you exiled.
So what you're saying is, if I happen to have casted this Aegis on an alleged shield with the apocalypse, and then happen to equip it, I myself will have a shield with the apocalypse that was mine
The-
all along, of course.
Theoretically, that is indeed how that would go. And on top of that, this creature that you've now equipped, it becomes a copy. Well, did you already have that creature in play? If so, you can already attack with it because it's not affected by summoning sickness. It didn't enter the battlefield. I have seen this exile an Atraxa and uptick a 1/1 into an Atraxa and crack back. Like you can do it.
I love
Oh,
the sound of this. This
for
is
5 mana,
value. Oh, Burns
3 to
Money is
play, 2 to
loving the
equip,
sounds
good
of
to go.
this.
Oh, bonkers, freaking bonkers.
Bonkers.
And think there's so many amazing creatures out there. Like if you have to settle for a Glissa or a Preacher to Schism, oh no, whatever will you do? I mean, you're gonna be fine. You got Sheoldred, you got Atraxas, you got these things that we've been talking about. If your opponent has a Vaultborn Tyrant, that's a way to exile it, and then you get one. And then if they kill that, you get the copy back. It's wild. Wild, I'm telling you. Like, this set is weird. It's freaking weird. I'm here for it though. I love it. I love it all.
I
Also, I think geographically my accent is shifting a little bit, but hey, that's how excited I'm getting. Okay.
That is just how it goes. And if I
Oh,
had to say, I would
oh,
certainly say the value that this set is bringing here, I think, is going to be not quite unparalleled, but it is definitely going to be up there. We have seen some power creeps going on in the years, but in the last little bit, especially, stronger and stronger are coming. And I think this is going to be the one that definitely sets the bar. Given that we are now committing crimes that benefit us here, we are gonna be getting more legendary creatures with better things, and suddenly I can make 1/1s into 7/7s that get me all the value. I mean, when you talk about power in a set, that is power. I'm so hoping to see some new exciting things come out of this set. And we thought the standard meta was gonna be diverse. I think it is gonna be even more diverse with the inclusion of this Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this. I do think this set is going to make some waves. And the big score set being like included in the same package. One, I mean, I weep for everyone out there who does not have, 10,000 mythic wild cards lying around like we do, of course. I mean, because I don't know how you're going to be affording the rent that we're coming for if you got to spend it all on mythic wildcards on Arena, because there are going to be a lot of great mythics that you're going to want to craft. It's going to be part of the deal. But I got to say, I think this set is truly fantastic and it's going to change things. I think Standard is going to see a shakeup. Exactly what's going to come out on top, I don't know. We'll see. I'm also kind of glad that this set isn't rotating everything yet, because I think this set is like one of the most powerful, like, just sets, like start to finish, that we've seen in a while. And so I want to see what this does to shake stuff up. Like, is there a good answer to like all the Rafine decks in this that like answers it cleanly? I don't know. Maybe. I'm interested to see it.
I think you just said
So
the answer there, though, Piggy Banks. I mean, you talked about it right there. The ages is a great answer to take care of this Rafine problem. I mean, given that Rafine is going to go the way of the dodo, if you know what I mean, in another a few weeks and or months. But
indeed.
I too am glad the fact that we have this set kicking in on standard right now. It makes me smile because we will get to see the impact of a strong set versus the other sets of what we have been living with in this standard now for 3 years. And I think come rotation time, it is going to be even more exciting to see what will develop, especially as we get into Bloomberg
Mm,
and all the other sets as they come. But Thunder Junction, this
absolutely.
this makes me excited. That
Oh,
I have been dreaming of the day that this set is going to be legal. It is coming in another week, and the crimes we are going to commit are going to be allegedly atrocious, but they will be profiteering nonetheless.
also, I gotta say the plot mechanic.
Mm.
If you haven't had a chance to see plot and what people have been doing with the plot, it's fantastic. Control players everywhere, sitting out there with like 1 or 2 counter spells, just like, I'll be okay. I'm gonna cast like 6 spells this turn before I tap any land, so you're gonna have to deal with it, okay? Like, good luck. That's all I gotta say. Good luck. It's gonna be wild. Yeah,
If
absolutely wild.
if I do recall correctly, because you cannot respond to the plot itself.
Correct.
It is just like foretelling in that I paid this cost and it is in the exile and I will cast it later. But since you cannot interact with the plot, it really does make your games against control players functionally different, right? Because I could go
Mhm.
plot turn 1, 2, and 3. I know about your normalize that you probably always have because you just always got it.
You go,
Suddenly,
yeah.
I've got 3 mana saved. I can just cast in this critter and then pay the 3, and I'm not worried about exiling.
All of a sudden, no more lies, make disappear. They're not looking so hot. And you're exactly right. One of the things that's great, if you have a card that says plot 3 on it, right? Like there's an outrider, there's also a new clone that has plot 3. If you've got that plotted away for 3, it's great because your control players are gonna be like, all right, I need to leave 2 mana open to counter whatever they do. All right, cool. My turn. I'm gonna hit my land drop. I'm gonna plot this. And what's great is that's a special action. When you say you can't interact with it, it means like even if you have a stifle, I don't care. This is an ability. You cannot touch it. So I'm gonna use my turn to just plot this and set it aside so you can just look at it for later. And then I love what you're saying because yeah, next turn, hit my land drop. I'm gonna play it. Yeah, you got a counter open unless I pay 3. Well, guess what? I got 4 mana open.
This
Do you wanna make me tap it so that I don't cast another spell? That's an option, but I'm gonna get this one.
but you will get
Wild.
it. It does
Yeah, so good. So good.
it does make me wonder though. So the fact that it is an ability, what would happen if, let's say, this plotting goes on the stack, and we happen to respond with the Tishana's Tideminder? What would that interaction look like? I did not get to see that at the streamer event, but did you run into that?
So here's what would happen. So I go to plot a cat. I'm gonna pay the mana. I'm gonna set it aside. That does not go on the stack in
It
any way.
at all?
It
No,
just
no
doesn't.
stack. Okay,
Nope. There's no stack whatsoever. So if I go to do that and then you cast out a Tidebinder, you have a 3/2 enter the battlefield.
beautiful. I
That
love
is
hearing
it.
that. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Yep. The little thing goes whoosh on the arena menu, and then it's just off to the side. You can see it. It's face up. You know exactly what I got, but you can't touch it.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
This set is just going to be even more fantastic. The more I'm hearing about this makes me more excited to go
Mm.
right out from the sunset with my my big dragon and my Yargo Multani. You know, my Terror of the Peaks coming in. It is going to be the legendary, and I
That
cannot wait.
that is the one thing that I saw, by the way. That new clone, the Visage
Mhm.
Duplicator, whatever that thing's called. It's a 4 mana clone, but you can plot it for 3. I went up against one person who plotted 2 of those. Plotted one on turn 3, plotted one on turn 4. Turn 5, Terror to Peaks. Clone.
Oh no!
Both coming in as copies of Terror to Peaks. My life flashed before my eyes. That was the most devastating turn 5 I think I've seen in a long time. And it was beautiful, but I was so sad that I was looking at it from the wrong direction.
And we were back. We were remembering the days of when we dreaded turn 5 because that turn 5 meant invoke
Mhm.
despair, and you were sacking things. But suddenly now it's turn 5, you're dead.
Nope. Turn 5, you're dead. Exactly. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna dome you for 15 and I got 3 tears down. What you got? Like, I'm gonna cry. That's what I got. I'm
That
gonna
about that
beast head.
sums
Does
it
that
up.
resolve? Yeah. Yeah, fantastic stuff. I gotta say. Yeah. So in any event, incredibly impressed. This set's gonna be a ton of fun. It's gonna see a ton of there's gonna be a big impact. You're gonna see a lot of these cards see and play. Fantastic. Can't wait.
Do you have like so Piggy Banks of all the archetypes potentially to be introduced and or revitalized with this new set here? What would be the one deck archetype that you are most excited to try next week as we go into the new meta on Tuesday?
Ooh, that's a really interesting question because I really enjoy these artifact based things because I feel like we've been really close to artifacts popping up. I feel like some kind of artifact based deck is just really, really close. And we've been really, really close for a long time. We've got like the number of times that I've looked at a new cat, whether it was Joyra, whether it was Sahili, whether it was whatever. And I remember finding myself saying, man, if artifacts were good, this would be good. That is a sentence that I have said a lot over the last year and a half. And all those cards are still live in standard right now. I cannot wait to dust those off and really see what we can do with some of these new pieces. Because I do think some kind of like Jeskai artifact thing using molten duplication, which is another new card that is just bananas. And like, I think there's something there. That's going to be an archetype that I'm really looking forward to. Also, of course, you know me. I love my various reanimation shenanigans. Any opportunity to get large things onto the battlefield way faster than I have any right to do so is exactly what I'm here for. So a cool is going to be a huge part of that. Absolutely going to make that a thing. Make your own luck is another one that I saw a lot of people like ramping into, doing some silly stuff with that. That's great. There was also a Simic Crimes deck that I did using the new Oko. That got out of hand
Ooh.
real fast, like real fast. The amount of mana you can ramp to in that deck is like there's one called I believe it's Far Haven Lookout or Far Right or Lookout something like that. It's a 3-drop that when you commit a crime, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then if you find a land, you can put it on the battlefield tapped.
Ooh, that is
And we were
spicy.
talking we were talking about how easy it is to be committing crimes, right?
Mhm.
So I would just wait till like turn 4 before I hit my land drop, play that, drop a desert, ping, crime, another land, and half the time that's another ping. It only triggered once per turn, by the way. It only triggers once per turn. But instant speed crimes can trigger on your opponent's turn.
And
So I was
that
using
is
things like,
rather disgusting if I am holding it up
that's the
there.
one. That's the one. Yes, I love that. That card is beautiful. It overperforms like crazy. So I would highly recommend you check that thing out. I was also using the card that I used with that was really fun, and but I had one doppelgang in that deck too because I was ramping so hard. Woo!
Just
Burns Bunny knows quality when it sees it.
oh, I got the cards already
oh,
foiled, already done.
beautiful, beautiful. That's the thing of beauty right there. I love it.
You
But
know,
yeah,
Ben's money had to pick up a few things. I apologize for the slight thing. Like, a good friend, the get a rug there, and
we got the frog, baby. We got the frog.
we got the frog, and what's not a little insatiable avarice
Oh,
for the burns. And
oh my goodness.
you were speaking of ramping committing crimes and talking about all the land stuff. So um this might be something to touch on later, but pillage the bog, always a great one for tutoring.
Oh
But
my goodness.
I digress. I
Yep,
apologize for the interruption.
it's
Just
quite all right. Quite all right. Pillage
you
the Bog is a great example of a card that late in the game, when you've had an opportunity to hit a lot of land drops, whether you've been ramping it or not, but just by nature of playing the game, if you have a lot of land drops down, it's so much better than when you hit it early. And if you wait, you get like an assemble the team kind of effect, where it's like it's basically a tutor. That card is nuts. And it's good later. And so the fact that you can plot it and wait till
later.
later and then fire it when you need it, that's amazing. I love that. Like, hey, it's turn 2, turn 3. I don't have anything to do. I'll just go plot this real quick. I'm just gonna set that aside. Don't worry about it.
We're just gonna tuck it
And
away then.
I'm gonna spend my man on something. I'll put a down payment on this spell. I'll worry about it later. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
That's it.
And then
Don't worry
your
about it.
opponent's gonna forget about it. You're just gonna go about your business. Then all of a sudden, like, oh, by the way, notice how we're both in top deck mode and I'm empty-handed. Yeah, I'm not actually. Let me go get a thing.
Yeah,
It's
you got
yeah.
a tutor.
I'm just gonna go to it real quick
You got a tutor.
and find the exact thing I need for this situation. It feels pretty good. It's yeah, there's good stuff happening. Can't wait. Can't wait. And once again, we have a situation where I'm looking at it and I'm hoping that we have an opportunity for green to kind of like step back into prominence and stand it because it's funny actually because green has been out of touch for a long time in standard. With Phyrexian LB1, we got the Raw Priest, and some people were like, just bring it back. Like, not really, but kind of. Like, it's a very fringe build. But okay, sure. Like, that one card is playable. But it wasn't until we got Restless Cottage that all of a sudden, like, that Golgari deck all of a sudden stepped in and became a thing. It's like, okay, cool. So we got green represented somewhere at least outside of, like, the domain. Because,
Right. I mean, domain. You play it for ramp and domain. Like domain is
right.
just cashing in on the value there. That's all they're doing. It's just value cashing in. But you are right with the fact that we did finally get in the Restless Cottage. There is some green being brought in, but we still do not have a strong performing mono green deck in
Indeed.
the format.
But I can't help but wonder, do we have it now? Because we have things like the Colossal Rattleworm. That thing is huge. And like
Huge.
6/5 trampler for 4. And it has situational flash. Like, that seems good. That seems good. So I don't know. Maybe there's something. Maybe there's something. I don't know. But
I
it's
have a
out there.
feeling-
Yeah.
I have a feeling there could be something because I mean, when you start combining in that kind of thing with the new 3-drop that we were just discussing, committing crimes, affix some fight spells. You play the sharp-eyed rookie. You are looking at Kadra. You are looking at targeted advantage. You are ramping ahead. And in mono green, you can end with the Nissa fairly easily with just a few things. I think it's
Absolutely.
shaping up to be a nice summer, a mono green on its comeback.
I think so. There might be a chance. And that's going to be fun to watch. Because that's an archetype we've been missing for a while. So here's hoping.
Fingers are crossed here, Piggy Banks. Fingers are
Big time.
crossed.
Absolutely. Well, yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Well, that is
All right.
That is exciting though. At Thunder Junction, coming to you next week with some sweet new spells committing the alleged crimes for the strongest of value, and I cannot wait.
Yep. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So if you're going to go out and enjoy a pre-release this weekend, treat yourself, have some fun. If you're listening to this after that, I hope you had a great time and best of luck out there doing the various rootins and tootins and and yeehawsin and whatever. Well, that's not how you phrase that. I don't, how do you conjugate yeehaw? Anyway, I'm
We
not
are
exactly
we
sure.
are allegedly going to show you the yeehaw that will deliver
Yes,
us the payment that is owed to us for the rent. It will make
indeed.
us yeehaw and you go yoo-hoo with a boo-hoo,
With the boo hoos, exactly. As one does.
as
So
one
thank you so
does.
much for joining us. We appreciate it very, very much. Again, we are your own landlords. And don't forget, the rent's due. You know where to find us. Because you
Speaking
know
of,
we're gonna find you.
well, of course we're gonna find them. Where else are we gonna go? But hey, speaking of find the piggy banks,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
where can the people find you?
Oh, right, that thing. Yeah, you can find me here on Twitch, twitch.tv/hamhocks42. That's where my kind of my more I'm trying to say my less intense version of me. You can see you can find him playing Magic over Monday through Friday in the mornings, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, and we go for like 5-6 hours pretty much every single day. So that's a great place. I'm also doing TikToks, Twitters, YouTubes, all that jazz, where he sells me cards. And nowadays I gotta say he's been selling me a lot of Thunder Junction cards recently, and I've been buying them because this set looks amazing. So yeah, if you want to see those little comedy sketches, those are out there on the internet. Hammocks 42, all the places. How about you, my friend? Birds of Money. Where can people find you?
Everyone, you can find me at Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Astralsflame. I am live Monday, Sunday, Monday, Friday, Saturday at 4:30 p.m. EST. Most of the nights, doing a variety of stuff from standard and teaching you the ways of Jund and/or dragons, and that is dragons within us between the brackets at the end. Because if you can't play a lot, at least play one. But we are doing that thing, and I think Ham had a really my associate here, Piggy Banks, had a great closing statement. I would like to re-stress this closing statement if you could take it away once again, my compatriot, my compadre, my partner, as it will be. So we yeehaw into a great Friday evening.
Absolutely. So everybody out there, pre-releases, doing your things, enjoy yourself, treat yourself. But don't forget, the rent is due, and you know where to find us.